Um, this first song is called A World on Fire.
Life is just disappointing when you really think about it. The world is on fire, and now even the internet is on fire. From all the unproductive political discourse to the constant bickering over menial bullshit. And now, of course, there's the Chris Chan situation, an individual who allegedly raped their dementia-ridden 79-year-old mother. By the way, if you clicked on this video and by some chance you don't know who Chris Chan is, please, leave. That's not a threat, it's a warning. So, let's dive into this clusterfuck of a string of events, shall we? So, around the beginning of August, screenshots started circulating the internet about where Chris Chan was speaking about this elderly woman he got with. On its face, there's nothing wrong with that, albeit a bit weird, but later on in the month, a certain little phone call where Chris Chan was chatting with someone whom at the time was presumed to be yet another internet troll, about some rather unsavory things he did with his mother, Barb.
Incest fanfics have come true and shit.
I didn't even know there was such a thing. I didn't even know there was incest fanfics. Were there about you and Barbara? I can't believe that. I didn't even think that. I knew that you guys had a good relationship.
Now, at this point, people didn't know if this was fake or doctored in some way, or if this woman on the phone was able to bait Chris Chan into saying this shit rather than it actually being true. Before Chris's inevitable clash with law enforcement, there was a removal order put in place for obvious reasons. Barb was sent to the hospital to have tests done, the rape kit and all that horrible jazz. And as if the Christorians weren't already shitting themselves, Chris Chan was either arrested or detained, depending on who you ask. Now, arguments over that are pointless because whether or not the initial clash with law enforcement was detaining him or flat out arresting him, there was an arrest that took place at some point. Footage of the arrest, or the detainment, surfaced online, and Chris Chan was acting like they always had. Now, this next part has been well documented on the channel of today's guest, Rigozen. So go check out his channel at the end of this video, and stick around till the end, as he and I have a chat about this whole whatever the fuck is happening. So, not long after the arrest, Chris had a court hearing to discuss bail. Given the graphic nature of this, Chris was held without bond, presumably in Charlottesville's county lockup. Supposedly, over the course of the bail hearing, Chris corrected the judge on the use of their pronouns, threw a temper tantrum when they couldn't go collect their plushies and other toys, which is both hilarious and causing me to slowly lose faith for humanity. Apparently, Chris has a preliminary court hearing on the 16th of September, so that should be interesting. Might make up a follow-up video. Probably not. I feel bad for the poor schmuck that has to defend Chris in court, though it might just be the most interesting case of his career. And obviously we know who that is. This fine fella is David Heelberg. According to his own website, He's well-versed in criminal, civil, and traffic court, and he's been a lawyer for 10 years. If anyone can help Chris get a lesser sentence and the help they so desperately need, it's this guy. We can argue day and night on whether Chris Chan deserves a long sentence. Personally, I'm neither here nor there on the issue. If they get help, cool. If they don't, they absolutely had it coming. But the fact of the matter is, Chris probably won't be getting as long of a sentence as people are hoping. And on to our final topic of this video. Oh boy. Isabel or Bella. This complete fucking psychopath. The phone call that I told you about earlier, it's basically been confirmed. She was the one on the other end. She was encouraging Chris's criminal behavior. Her reasoning, according to some other YouTubers' videos on this topic, was to blackmail Chris and get them in a shit ton of legal trouble. And if they've succeeded. Honestly, since I want to keep this video short, I'm not going to go over all of Isabel's nasty behavior, as her shitty behavior would honestly take up a whole video of its own. Just know, this chick is fucking bonkers, and needs to be thrown in some sort of mental ward or a help group, almost as much as Chris does. Hey guys, future editing TGH445 here. Okay, so I had to cut down the call with Riggy quite a bit, simply because if I didn't, this video would be nearly an hour and 30 minutes long. So if you want to see the full call, unedited, uncut, there's a link in the description for you. If not, enjoy the show.
What's up?
Hey. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
How about you?
Good. I'm doing alright. Okay. I thought of a couple things I wanted to go over. First of all, I want to talk about the trial. I know it hasn't happened yet, but oh boy.
One of the trials happened. Almost.
Yeah, the hearing, right? Yeah,
the hearing.
Yeah. But like when and if he actually goes to trial, like I forget who I heard this from, but like, oh boy, I feel bad for the jury.
They're definitely gonna have a very difficult decision to make. I feel that almost there could be a chance that they could sympathize with Chris, but at the same time, I feel like they might be appalled to the point where it's like, no, fuck this guy.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm kind of on the fence, because I feel like he might end up with a lesser sentence. I don't actually, it's just going to depend on how it all goes, but like, just imagine, because you know they're going to have to show everything, not just what absolutely pertains to the case, but everything Chris Chan has ever done. And look, I've only been in this, I've only known about Chris for like maybe 4 or 5 years to this point, so again, but like, the little bits and pieces I know already like just hurts my brain on such a level that I mean,
honestly, before this, I thought Chris was dead. I thought, he was the most documented person, and then he just died. But apparently he's still alive.
Yeah, no, he kind of, everything with him kind of just went radio silent. Like, you didn't hear any. This is like, hey, I mean, it's quite the finale. I'll give him that.
It's the final saga to the series.
Yeah, it's some wild stuff. Yeah, no, I looked into that, his lawyer, and I do think this guy will be able to. I think he'll be able to do a lot for Chris personally.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think his ranking is like a 10 point.
Yeah.
In whatever ranking system. It always begs the questions like, why would they give him such a prestige, lawyer?
Well, and I mean, this would purely be speculation, but it's possible the lawyer knew somebody in Chris's family. I mean, it's possible, but doubtful. Chris may have just gotten the luck of the draw with that one, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they release like the trial footage, because I just imagine, like, I watch a lot of like Law and Order SVU type stuff, so like, you know, I just can't get over all of this, really. And the fact that he's like up in the bail hearing begging for his plush toys, like, dude, you're in serious, like, major fucking legal trouble here. Like, even if anyone, and you know, I don't really, I'm not like shaming him for it, for you know, having, like, I've got action figures and shit, right? It's fine, but like,
Absolutely.
They're not gonna let you have that in jail. Like, no, it's not gonna happen.
It just goes to show you that, like, how unaware Chris is in this entire situation. But even with the eyewitnesses, they even claim that towards the end that he started to realize, it was like, oh wait, I think I'm actually fucked.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah, I forget where I read this comment. I've been watching several videos on the subject, just really trying to absorb all of this, because it's wild. But apparently somebody else who has high-functioning autism was, like, questioning Chris's diagnosis, because, like, they'd apparently never met any high-functioning autistic person that acted like this. I don't know what the qualifications are for that, but, like, Chris seems way more out of it than what most people like that do, you know? So, yeah, no, I'm almost positive they'll do a psych eval for sure, if they haven't already. So, somebody was like, oh, what if he goes for the insanity defense? And I'm like, that's not gonna happen.
I mean, it could be possible they put him in the mental asylum.
Yeah.
Seeing how he acts,
absolutely.
maybe, but,
yeah. But, like, it's a pretty flimsy defense, mainly just because it's really hard to prove, right? Like, there has to be, one of the main things here is that there has to be, the person being tried has to be able to distinguish between right and wrong, and that's the big one right there. And I'm almost positive, just by virtue of like that eyewitness testimony, Chris knows right from wrong, at least on some level. So, yeah, it's like the saying, even though I don't like Chris at all, I've never have, but it's like the saying, you either die before you see your heroes, or you live to see your heroes become villains. It's you know, so it's a headache.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Just looking at the entire Chris Chan arc, you just look at it, it's just like, man, too much information.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I legitimately do believe the claim that he may be the most documented person on the internet. Like, everybody else, every other major internet figure that I can think of just peaks and then goes away, right? They have, like, 15 minutes of fame and that's it. Chris has, like, had ups and downs. It's like looking at the fucking Bitcoin stock. It just... So it really is weird, like, and like, I'm 21, so like for a lot of this, I wasn't even old enough to really know who or, you know, what Chris Chan had done. So
same.
But like, yeah, and then
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, like, if you just look at the arc, or just like the overall story, you know, you could say, like, Chris Chan is the only villain in this story, or like, the or like the antagonist.
Oh, but absolutely.
Honestly, it's like there's a lot of problems. Like there's a lot of issues. Like, if you look at the information presented, you know, like you start to see, like, there's a lot of problems that led Chris Chan down this path of just, you know, self-destruction.
Oh, absolutely.
You have, you know, the mother, just or just the parents in general not giving a shit. You know, they're
Yeah.
just, letting him be him,
Mm-hmm.
and just to collect a check. And then you have the people online treating him like shit. You know, trolling him, pretending to be different women, pretending to be him.
Yeah.
It's just insanity. It just, if you look at it as a whole, you can just see humanity's pure cruelty
Oh,
at
absolutely.
its finest.
Yeah,
At
absolutely.
its finest, yeah.
And that's like I do sympathize with Chris on a lot of that. Honestly, it does suck, right? It's not exactly fair, but you know, at the same time, that'll probably lead into everything else down along the line. But like, you know, it's unfortunately still not much of an excuse, right? You know, he still did something that's pretty fucking monstrous.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. But no, like the trolls, man, like something that I've seen with Chris is he seems to lack like self-preservation, right? He doesn't seem to know when he's in hot shit. Like any other person would have never fucking bragged over the phone about what he did. Like they just out of fear alone, like you would not have done that. It would fuck you up down along the line. You'd probably end up in jail. Like, so it just, and I do think that's just because of like his mental illness and all that, like just this innate lack of self-preservation. Yeah. And gullibility as well. That's part of it. Like,
if the allegations are true about, Bella Janke, then, she essentially groomed him,
absolutely.
to do, the consensual sussy with his mother, and then, to, tell her about that, because it's, again, if all the allegations are true, like, this was her entire plan, right? She wanted to be the best troll, the most remembered troll of all time. And she wanted him to tell her so that she could have information to blackmail him, because in the end of the day, she wanted him to kill himself.
Yeah,
right. It's insane that if you want to call like one definite villain in this entire arc, it would have to be Bella Janke.
Oh, absolutely,
absolutely.
As even though what Chris did is horrible, or allegedly did. I keep forgetting that. You know what I mean. But like,
the incest is like basically confirmed because he just basically said it.
Yeah. But even with what he did, how horrible of a monster do you have to be to bait somebody into doing that, right? Like, it with Chris Chan, it is essentially the same thing with, like, grooming a kid, right? Like, it is basically the same thing. His mental capacity doesn't reach that of the average adult. So it is essentially grooming him. And that's just, it's so much more, like, when I saw all this going down, I was like, okay, that's fucked up. I'm gonna go take a cold shower. And then with Bella, and I'm like, oh my fucking God. That chick, honestly, again, she's so much worse than him. And it hurts me that she's probably going to get away with this scot-free, right? They're not... they're probably not going to... I don't even know if there's anything they can't... I guess they could charge her as an accomplice, because she basically is. But whether or not they're going to do that is up in the air, I guess.
Yeah, if you look at the information that was presented about, Bella's past, it almost seems unreal. Like, the kind of heinous shit that she's done it seems too unrealistic, but at the same time, it's like, it could be possible, but it just sounds too bad to be true. Instead of, the whole, like, oh, it's too good to be true, it sounds too bad to be true.
Yeah.
Like, if you read the document that someone had on Twitter, like, it had 76 fucking points of, like, terrible shit she's done.
Yeah.
Like, what in the actual fuck causes you to bring pain to people and then get enjoyment out of that? Like, something obviously went wrong, right? This is a fatherless child right here,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it does just seem, like, cartoonishly evil. It's like...
I will say this though: if they find information like hard-hitting evidence about Bella, I think that could definitely bring down the sentence, like the severity of the sentence of Chris.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If they can 100% confirm that was her on the other end of the call, and I'm betting that the cut that's released probably isn't the entire call. Like, I imagine there's more. I don't know if they've released the full call, but yeah. So, and I think Mudahar, Some Ordinary Gamers did some video on the situation, specifically the claim that it could have been deepfake audio. And he tried out, if I remember correctly, he tried out something, and it just did not create his voice accurately. So I don't think that technology is there, but that's a claim I've seen plenty of people using, is that maybe it was like when it all started with Chris, and they're trying to do, I guess they're trying to say the same thing for Bella, but I'm pretty sure that call's legit. So, and I think
everyone thinks that call is legit. Like, I would be hard pressed to, even think about having that being a deep fake, but that could be a thing that David brings up in the the arguments, like, this call could possibly be deep fake, and he could have someone that could make a legitimate voice of Chris Chan, so it could be a thing.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that depending on where you go for voice deep fakes, they're either really, really good or really, really bad. But there's still very slight differences you can notice. Like, you have to feed that algorithm a lot of audio for it to get your voice that good. Like, it learns over time, right? So the more of your voice you feed it, the better the end product is going to be. But
when you say that, then I feel like that could actually be plausible, because, like we said before, Chris Chan is the most documented person online, and he has a bunch of videos. And so if there is an algorithm like that, they could just literally feed his entire YouTube channel or his entire fucking existence in that algorithm, and it could possibly make a very realistic sounding Chris Chan.
It might. I mean, I know audio quality would come into the equation, and I've seen some of the videos on Chris's channel. Like, they're not the best audio quality. Which to be fair, it was like, what, he started his channel at the dawn of YouTube, didn't he? Like, it was like 2007 or whatever.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then again, I don't know. I haven't toyed around with this with any of these programs all that much myself. Mainly just seen other people do it. Like, somebody made a carbon copy of, like, Eminem. Like, they rewrote one of his songs to fit 2020, and then, like, deep faked his voice, and it was freaking on spot. So yeah, it could be, but I don't know, man. I'm just like, there seems to be more of that call, and if there's more of that, like, if it was deep faked, right, you would release it all at once. It wouldn't matter, because at that point, any damning evidence in there is invalid because you faked it, right? So
that's fair, yeah.
Yeah. Bella is just so criminal that honestly, I can't see anything. Like, I legitimately. Okay, so, like, I'm pretty sure you could probably diagnose her as a psychopath. Like, and that's not something.
Absolutely.
That's not something that you can just change. Like, people have been calling her Machiavellian, which is basically a psychopathic personality type, which is accurate. And it's just like, Chris could come back from this a better human being, right? But the way she is, like, that's so ingrained in who you are. You have to catch that at a young age, otherwise it's impossible to treat. Like, I don't see her ever stopping what she's doing. If it wasn't Chris, it would be somebody else. And I can guarantee you, now that she's gotten that 15 minutes of internet fame, it'll happen again.
Yeah, I definitely agree that she needs to be pulled out of society. But, like, that also brings up the problem. It's like the state failed in this entire situation. You know, it's like, how did they allow Chris Chan to take care of his like dementia-ridden mother. You know, you look at the videos and you're just like, how is he able to take care of her? Like, I'm surprised even at this point that she's even still alive. You know, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane how the fucking state didn't just come in and be like, okay, you're pretty much unfit to take care of your own goddamn mother, so we're gonna put her, you know, we're gonna take her away, put her, you know,
even if he hadn't
better
done
situation.
Even if he hadn't done what he did, he's still like nowhere near competent enough to take care of her.
No, absolutely not.
Trying to rope back around to Chris. I don't want to get too. I have a tendency to off track.
Oh, same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Bunny trails, man. Fucking suck.
Yeah. Okay. What? I had something in mind. It's gone. Okay. We could let's talk about more about his lawyer. I think that's honestly fast. What I vaguely remember a video. You said you actually got something back from him, didn't you? Or one of his assistants, or?
Yeah, it was apparently a statement that has already been released. I thought that was just a statement, you know, specifically towards me, because I did send him an email and I got a reply back from one of his you know, people from his team. But yeah, it was apparently like a statement saying like, oh, don't believe everything that you hear online, blah blah blah. You know, like it doesn't matter whether or not you're a troll, supporter, journalist, or shit like that. So it's kind of like your run-of-the-mill generic response.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, just the thing about it is as juicy as that interview would have been if it had gone through. There's just
man, it would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just unfortunately attorney-client confidentiality. That's it's if they engage, if they engage with anybody, it's a risk that they'll. Because, you know, when you're talking with people, you're not necessarily really thinking too much about what to filter out. So something could slip and then a mistrial could happen or something like that, which even if you believe your client's innocent, you don't want that because that could come back to bite you in the ass. So it's a mess right there. But after I would try and contact them after all the trial.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because then they'll be able to. It'll all be public information for the most part, and they can talk. They'll know what they can and can't talk about. So yeah, no, like this is just gonna. I'm interested to see what happens on the 17th or the 16th. Is it 17th? I think it's the 16th of September.
Yeah, I think the 16th.
With that preliminary, you know what I mean. Yeah, that little hearing, because then we'll start to get into the juicy shit, like if they have enough evidence to move to trial and all that.
Right.
So,
you know, one of my comments said that if they really wanted to make a lot of money out of this, they should live stream the court hearing. Ooh, man. You don't know how many people would fucking turn out for that shit.
I saw that comment. Absolutely. It's like the Drake Bell situation. I don't know if you saw that or not, but Drake Bell, the guy. Yeah. And dude, that's been like one of the most hilarious memeable things in a while. That they took like the Drake and Josh soundtrack and then edited it over the court, the guilty plea and shit. It's hilarious. Like, and again, even, they'll make money too, but just imagine like the spread of that. They'll do the exact same thing they did with the Drake Bell, but with Chris Chan, and it's just like,
oh, absolutely, yeah.
It would become one of the biggest memes really fucking fast. Like, people would almost forget just how horrible the source material that they're using is rooted, like how much horrid shit it's rooted in, just because of the memeability. It almost creates like a cognitive dissonance. You kind of forget how bad it is.
Well, not only that, it's like even the new people who are just getting into Chris Chan, like they don't know what happened, like unless they looked up the information. And there's a bunch of memes about that too. You know, it's like, when you start looking at the new Chris Chan, or just just looking back into the Chris Jorian stuff. But it's just how it is. You know, people are just gonna like almost forget or just not even know the lore of
Yeah.
Chris Chan until they actually look it up.
And then it's gonna be like, oh, I didn't need to know that.
It's like their mind just starts to implode on itself. It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. It's like it's like an open secret almost. It's like there are people who just are either weren't old enough at the time, or just still aren't old enough, or just didn't care, that don't know how rooted and how bad all this shit really is. I don't even know it to the full extent because, like,
Neither do I. Yeah.
So it's like it's wild.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, I think I understand why there's like so much like infighting within the community and shit like that, or just with different people. Like at the end of the day, even though this is entertaining, you know, that's I'd say that's pretty fucked up to say, but at the end of the day, you know, Chris Chan is still a human individual, and I understand why people don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt because, you know, he's accused of being, you know, in a unconsensual relationship with his own mother and shit like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, the reality is reality, and he's a human being.
Yeah,
and that's why so many people are so adamantly, I guess, against people having fun, you know, talking about this, you know, making fun of him. Also, there's people, you know, making sure that we use the correct pronouns and shit like that. It's like there's like different things here and there that just causes everyone to be at each other's throat, you know, because of one individual, that person being Chris Chan.
Yeah. It kind of just comes into play as, like, I get everybody's individual, right? It just kind of depends on how badly you view this crime. Like, it's possibly like, if you throw rape into the mix, it's pretty much one of the worst crimes you can commit. I don't blame people on either side of the pronoun issue. I get why you want to treat him like a human being, and I also understand why you want to treat him like a fucking monster. It's like a hard situation to be in. It's why, like, I'm curse a little bit in my script. I'm usually much more funny, but I just didn't feel like this was didn't feel like this was the situation to try to be humorous. I just be a little bit more informative. So it's like you just everybody's going to be different at the end of the day, and it's all going to affect people differently. So we really need to just, like, stop fighting and really just focus on the issue, right?
On the main issue, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like, it's with so many facets of life, we get so worked up in who's right, who's wrong, opinions versus facts versus feelings. It's like, we get so mixed up in the nitty-gritty, we forget to actually work towards a common goal or towards an issue. So it's headache inducing, but we need to focus on the issue. And honestly, just the fact that this didn't go unchecked is good. Chris needed to go to court for this, and just knowing how many, like, people on the internet basically get away with a lot of shit, it's good to see that this is at least being handled in the legal system. So
right.
Morality isn't completely, like, these people's you know, moral compass isn't just, like, fucking smashed to bits because of the endless amount of BS that's happened. So that's good.
They're not looking at the situations like, oh, Chris Chan, you quirky devil, you having incest with your mother.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, okay, all right, Chris, all right, it's fine, we still love you. No, it's like actual legitimate outrage, and I really haven't seen that, like, where it's, you know, valid in quite a while. So good.
Then you have Bella, though, where people are like, oh, it's okay. Yeah, you did a lot of stupid shit because you're hot, you got big titties.
That annoys me. Because, like, I
She's
don't...
not even that hot, dude.
No.
The only thing that's, like, positive about her, she has big boobs, but, like, are you really gonna, like, skip the fact that she cooked her hamster alive, boiled it? You really gonna skip that out, bro?
You seen their fucking feet? Like, I think it was posted on some hate forum. Like, you could see her crusty ass toenails. Like, yeah, absolutely. And it was like, it was disgusting looking. I don't even know where they got those photos, to be honest. But I was like, is that like an ad for, like, something to help your feet? And then the person mentions it, and it's like, no, it's actually a picture of her feet. And I'm like, no, there's even if you could look past the physical aspect and still want to like get with her, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, her personality would have to be manipulative and horrible, right? Like, it's just...
That's the thing that appeals to some guys, I would imagine. Like, there's some sadistic fucks out there who are like, hey, I want to get fucking gaslighted every day.
Maybe, but not me, man. Like, there's nothing... I wouldn't touch that chick with a 17-foot pole.
No, like... I have a fucking pet dog, at one point. It's like, where's the dog? What's the dog doing? The dog's, like, having a fucking seizure. And she goes, like, just dancing. It's
dude.
Like, but she, like, fucking beat the dog, like, several times.
Dude.
It's like, oh, it's okay. Oh, you got big tits. Who cares? It's okay. You can beat my dog all you want.
I'm a pet owner, so that's fucked. That's fucked. I'm sorry. That's
literally like how brain dead, like how like Coomer condensed reality art do you have to be okay with that? With all the shit she's done, and you just turn around and be like, I don't care, bro. I can fix her. That's like the main meme that's come out from this entire situation. I can fix her.
But
it's like, it's like they look at it as like, oh, it's a little scratch. It's like a car that's like literally rusting at the fucking core. It's like, it's just a scratch. I can fix it. No problem.
This is the car that this isn't a scratch. This is the car that got fucking compounded into a square cube of metal. This is not like I don't think people really understand like how ingrained something like sociopathy or psychopathy is into a person. Like, it's not something that you can just wash away or fix, right? Like, they're not going to stop behaving like that. And there's just again, like, I'm not even like, I don't give a fuck about the tits thing. Like, I don't care. There's nothing you could do. It's just like, how can you look at that list of shit? Like, even if you thought you could fix her, like, fuck. Like, that would scare me away. I'd be like, the fuck? Like, it's a lot of that shit on there's criminal too. Like, geez, like you've got a rap sheet and people don't even fucking know it.
See, the thing is they're not looking at the list.
I know.
They're not looking at the list.
Fair. They're not paying attention to the glaring red flags. I'm willing to bet some of them aren't serious. They're just fucking doing it for the meme.
Yeah, they're just memeing.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, totally, I get it.
Sure.
I basically, that was all my Twitter was for. Like, I didn't get into the discourse at all. I just kind of fucked around. It's just, I mean, what else are you gonna do on a lunch break or a weekend, right?
Yeah.
So I get it, but like, I
the people who are serious, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, there's
legitimately.
There's something wrong with them if they're serious, and even if, and I know I'm kind of circling back here, but even if they don't attach her to Chris's case, I bet you there's something on that list that has substantial evidence. But again, doubt cops would actually give enough of a fuck. I mean, but yeah, no, I kind of feel like she deserves to be in a cell more than Chris does, if I'm being like completely honest.
But you see, the problem here is that I don't think she is. Like, I feel like no one's really caring about Bella because number one, she's considered good looking, and number two, she's a woman, and so people are not going to pay attention. It's like it's like what people say, right? Like, people don't give a shit about women pedophiles. Right? Like, it's all about the men pedophiles. They get like executed and shit like that. But when it comes to a woman doing that shit, it's like no one fucking cares.
It's a double standard, absolutely.
Absolutely, a double standard.
It's like, fuck. I keep thinking back to South Park episodes. That should just show you how bad all of this is. Where like Kyle's like the teacher slept with his brother, and he goes up to the cops and he's like, "Hey, the teacher slept with my brother," and they're like, okay, what was his name? And he's like, no, it was a woman. And they're like, oh, nice. It's exactly like that, and it's infuriating. Actually, interestingly enough, that's kind of this is a shameful little secret, but I used to be a fan of Creepshow Art, and then until all the shit came out about her. But that's actually kind of what got me into her channel to begin with. She talked about that weird, creepy chick that was like, I think she was working at Cartoon Network and was like stalking this 14-year-old emo boy at some fucking carnival or whatever. He was like with his mother, and she's got her boyfriend to take pictures of him, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And she like went on Tumblr and posted about it and like hashtag pedophile under the tags, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
No fucking way. That's insane.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. And I'm like, what the fuck?
It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, I get there's some people out there who are just like really fucking proud of being the most despicable individual out there. You know, you get the fucking maps on Twitter, but my fucking god.
Well, you also got to remember the maps originated on Tumblr, actually, and they migrated to Twitter. They basically
because like a lot of people from Tumblr migrated to Twitter because of the whole porn ban thing where they're like, oh, we can't porn anymore, so I can see that. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like Tumblr really, it's like the OnlyFans thing too. It's like you're cutting out the OnlyFans ban. Didn't they like recant that or something? Like
literally like 2 days later after it was
like,
announced.
It's like you thunder fucks. Like, what are you doing? But it's the same thing. Like, you're cutting out the main reason people go. Like, you're gonna have there are gonna be some legal problems on your site, but like that's what moderation is for. You can't even be held accountable. They can't. Like it's like why YouTube isn't held accountable for the amount of people that are outed and convicted as pedos, you know? It's because there's laws in place that protect sites like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook from what their users do.
Right.
Which, honestly, is kind of a double-edged sword, because then, you know, YouTube just doesn't do anything, or Twitter just doesn't do anything until you've got like an angry mob of like fucking people in pitchforks at their front door. Like that's what annoyed me so much about like the ElsaGate situation, all that shit on YouTube Kids, is they didn't fucking get rid of it until they had angry parents at their doorstep.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, so yeah, no, like it's all like a double-edged sword. There's pros and cons to everything. Well, not everything, but you know what I mean. There's pros and cons to all of this. Like, even Chris Chan, he's either going to get help or he's going to get punished for what he did, or both, possibly. So it's like, it's the fucking scale or whatever, you know. So yeah, it's. But yeah, no. Back to what. I completely agree. I still can't believe that she posted that. Like, okay, I get it. There are some people that post shit like that are joking, right? Like, fucking, who is it that posted, I forget who it was. Some motherfucker in the film industry posted all those pedophile jokes. They were gross. They were disgusting. But at the end of the day, they were jokes, you know? So it's not like...
James Gunn?
I think it was James Gunn. I almost feel like it is. I don't know. I just know there's somebody that did that, and it's like, yeah, you know, it happens. It's a really disgusting joke, but nonetheless, it's a joke. But the difference between those and what this chick posted is, there's no way to interpret what she posted as a joke. I mean, she came back out and said it was a joke, but there's too much detail, right? It's too much detail for a throwaway gag about pedophilia. Like, you know, it's like Shane Dawson saying what he did was a joke. Like, I do believe some of it was a joke, but there are some where I'm not so sure, because there's nothing funny about it, and two, it's just graphic detail too much of it. It's not even that there's graphic detail, it's that there's too much detail, right? You're not going to write a Twitter post and go into like fucking weird, creepy detail about this shit. Like, there's no reason for it to be more than like 250 characters, and her thing was like 3 paragraphs long. It was like a fucking copy pasta. More like a fucking creepy pasta.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. I honestly do think we need to take more into account to like people like Bella. We just, as a society, don't. And it's like, I get it. This whole idea that women are the fairer sex has kind of just been ingrained into all of us. And in some aspects, yes, it's true. But we can't just discount women doing not only criminal, but horrible shit, right? It doesn't have to be illegal to be morally wrong. But just bad shit, right? And we just kind of, like you said, set it aside. It's the men. It's the big, gruffy, fucking creepy 80-year-old dude with wired frame glasses. Okay, that was a pretty bad stereotype, but you get my point. Like, you know, yeah. So, it's annoying. It annoys me to utter hell because, like, you know, I know that not everything on that list was criminal, but it's like there was some. I'm even and I know this is like would be like a misdemeanor if it's illegal at all, but I'm really questioning the whole ID thing. You know, where she faked that ID or whatever and made it of someone younger than her. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what the fuck that was for, but
I think that was her trying to like save face, so she could I think accuse the other autistic person that was a part of the situation.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
All right, but yeah, no, like. There's some messy legality there too, obviously. Right. So if we gotta make a list from best to worst, I'm sure that'll be at the top. It's like the one thing that would be a misdemeanor. So yeah, no, I don't know. Just bang my head up against the wall until any of this makes sense.
Yeah, you will be doing that for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I've kind of run dry on things to talk about. You got anything else before?
I feel like we basically covered everything.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, well, oh shit, it has been that long. All right, I might have to cut a bit of this down, but yeah. All right, cool. Well, it was good talking with you, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.